So did you begin playing instruments, or was you?
No, I was a singer.
Ah, okay, right. That's what I'm saying. Let me
uh,
know.
I I was a singer. I couldn't play anything. I really couldn't play anything. So I was a singer. I sang in from, let's say, late elementary, like in sixth grade. I started singing in the choir, or in music class. But Miss Ott, I remember all my music teachers. So in sixth grade, I had a music teacher named Miss Ott, and little petite, little teeny white chick, and she was amazing. Taught me rhythm, how to count beats, and understand musical signatures and things like that. Next year, junior high school, I went to there was G Garden and Shoe Garden, PG County. Miss Moore, I think she got married after that, but her name was Miss Rogers now. But Miss Moore, she taught me everything as far as musical tones and things are concerned. And then I was in a band, symphonic band, where I played just the snare. I didn't play the drums. I played the snare in a symphonic band. So don't if anybody tells you I played the drums, they're lying. If I tell you I played the drums, I'm lying. I played the snare. So so those are Mr. Brown and Miss Moore were probably the two people who really got me into understanding music the way I understand it now. And it was their relentless effort to educate us from our community. And if I, man, there's so many people that came just from those two music classes that are doing stuff in the industry that just are just incredible. But and then I sang for those years, and then I went to high school. And once I went to high school, I thought I was going to play football. So I'm too cool to be in the choir. So I'm, trying to play football, and wasn't too good at that. So I'm back to music now. But but everybody that played football was in the choir. You know what I mean? So we had big 6'5", 300 pound. Like we had a big team even back then in the 80s. Our team was humongous. They were saying Tom Butler. He was a baritone. Stood next. Marcus Mayo, our running back, stood next to me. I think we had one of the quarterbacks played sang too. But we were all the Bentleys, Keith and Kevin Bentley. Like they play guitar in a top 40 band. I'll get to that in a second. And I think one of them played football. So it didn't matter. It was the same again, same people, and and we had a choir director. My sister also sang, and then the next year when I was a sophomore, you know, they asked me to sing in the choir. I wasn't a lead singer or nothing like that. I just had a good tenor voice, so a decent. I ain't gonna say good. I had a decent tenor voice, and Mary Cole was the director, and I literally will give her. She saved all of our lives, and this white lady who actually cared about us from where we were. And to this day, she's special to all of us. She either broke you or she made you better. There was no two ways about that. She was unreasonably particular about a lot of things. And we all have her sayings in the back of our head at some point. If we saw each other, the first thing we're going to say is on time is late, because that was the main thing she would say, on time is late. Don't get here, be here and be prepared when it's time to go. You know, do we all live that? No, I don't. I'm still late. But anyway, um, it, she, it's this thing about what she did for us that most of us either we love her or you hate her. And I know I didn't understand how people hated her, but I understand how she could be different to different people. You know what I mean? Depending on what you brought to the table. Because I know people who just said she ruined their lives, and I'm like, I don't understand it. But anyway, it so we all sang, and then we sang chamber choir music, like classical music. We sang gospel. We had a gospel choir, and we had a top 40 choir, and then the top 40 choir also had a top 40 band called Malika. that where we played all over Maryland, all over Virginia, and we played, all the top 40 hits. And from that band, I mean, there are people who are doing TV shows. Michelle Cello was the bass player in my band. Um, Caroline, Laurie Williams, John. It was so. I mean, it's just so many people from that band that are out still doing things in the music industry or performing, writing, television, film, something. Somebody from that band is doing something in the industry now. And actually, Michelle just. I wish I could have went, but Michelle, she had a show probably about 20 minutes from my house. So it was. It's just that band was just crazy. If you ask anybody from DC, Maryland in that time, you say Malika, they'll know who we were. We weren't go-go. We were strictly top 40. But when we was warming up, we was funking, boy. We would crank it. We would definitely crank it when we was warming up. But again, I was a singer in the band. That's kind of what got me into engineering unknowingly because I hate the way my voice sounded over a microphone. And there was this thing that had all the knobs and the little faders. I knew it was a mixing board, so I just go over there and tweak my voice just so I could tolerate it. And whenever whoever got that mic, their voices just always sounded good. So then they were like, all the mics say, "Hey, what did you do with that mic?" So I did it to their mic. What did you do to that? So I did it to their mic. I didn't know what I was doing. It turned up the highs, turned down the lows. That's pretty much what it was. So that was my first remembering. That was my first time I ever touched a fader or an EQ. Didn't know what it meant. Didn't know what it was. Said high, low. Played around with it and it worked. So that was that. But and then that was how I got into music. And then after high school, it was DJing, sang in a couple top 40 bands we tried with a lot of people around the area. I got tired of DJing, bought a drum machine, and started making beats. But before then, I was DJing right after high school, and then Beat Street came out. Once I saw Beat Street, that was like all me and my one of my best friends, Lee. We started breakdancing. Not even breakdancing, just popping. Just all the body stuff. Popping, and that took us everywhere. And those were kind of the moments that you look back and go, "Wow, if I was too cool to do that, I would never be where where I am." And Beach Street, we watched that movie because we did the graffiti, we did the breakdancing. I was the DJ. We had the style. We took everything from that movie. I mean, every move they did, the way we started talking. People looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, "Yo, that was whack, man." And I'm in DC area. They're like, "You get." So luckily we could fight because we got into a lot of fights over that. But it was cool. And then our first breakdance group, it's called Freak Beat. It was just me, uh, my boy Lee, and two guys that lived around the way, Thomas and Steve, another Steve Pierce, their brothers, Steve and Thomas Pierce. We had a little group, and we used to go to Chuck E. Cheese up in Marlow Heights on a Friday night when they had like it was like dance night. And this was after high school, so we had Chuck E. Cheese after high school, but it was free pizza. And you could dance. So we was up there dancing, and these other guys came in, looking all, homeboyed out, all, like who the heck are these dudes? And we danced against them. But they could break dance. They couldn't really pop. They could break dance. We could pop. They could break dance. Next thing you know, we formed a crew together, and that was what were we, the Grand Floor Wizards. We won all the competitions in DC, DJing and dancing. I was still a DJ. I wasn't a good dancer either, but I was a DJ, and it was some TV show that we did the intro to on that was on ABC. I forgot what it was called, and we just did all that stuff, and I battled all the DJs in the area. Frank Ski he was going to UDC at that time. Can't remember what his DJ's name was. Always, oh, they biting my style, they taking my mixes, all that stuff, man. So that was those times in DC for me, and all while working. I had to work. I was a graphic artist and printer, so I had to do that, and I was going to school. Went to two different. I was going to PGC, WPGC, Prince George's Community College, PGCC, and Omega Recording, all at the same time while working. I worked at Cap. I worked in the basement of a hospital. So I got off. As soon as I got off, DJing, making mixes, um, and that was it.